Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Rugged Heart Productions. I know it has been a while. Today is Sunday, March 26th, and your boy's late to church, which isn't something that happens often. But I've been celebrating my birthday, which was a few days ago on the 23rd, and between that, you know, those days of celebration and then going back to work immediately, I'm just not doing well on the energy side, so I kind of slept in a little bit. But anyway, I wanted to shoot this particular vlog simply because it's been a while since I've talked about this particular story, and not a whole lot of people know it. I actually shot the footage for this video some point last year.
It's nighttime and roads were clear. This is back when I had this is back when which is the first time something like this happened. This is the first time something like this happened.
When it was a little more fresh on my mind, but I kind of let it go. And I honestly have no reason why. I just never edited the video, so it never made it onto the vlog. But I want to tell you guys a story of something that happened to me, and I kind of feel like today was the perfect day. If you look outside, you will see that it's kind of, I guess you could say, a little dreary outside. Let me take a look. You know, it's not particularly gorgeous out there. Looks like it could have rained. Looks like it might rain. You never know. Anyhow, so this story, when I initially shot it, I called it That Time Jesus Saved My Life. And what's funny about that is that, you know, I'm not talking about initial salvation. I'm talking about a moment where I actually could have lost my life, and thank God everything turned out okay. So I was headed home from work at one point, and I guess I should tell the story a little bit better. Let me be a little more dramatic about it. So one Saturday I'm at work, and it's been a particularly long day, and I'm kind of tired after the day, and I'm leaving work, haven't sold anything, and I'm feeling pretty bad about myself. Now, when this was happening was back when I owned my Mazda, not necessarily when I owned this here beautiful Jetta. And sorry for all the looking around, guys. I'm actually driving, if you can't tell. But yeah, back when I owned my Mazda, my baby, Red Jack, used to love her. If you don't remember what she looks like, here she is. And she wasn't the greatest in inclement weather. I mean, like, at all. A couple snowed a couple times, and I was going maybe 20 miles an hour, tapped the brakes, and I just slid over and hit a curb at one point. But that's not the story. That's just something that happened to kind of tell you how terrible she was in inclement weather, like, period. So, anyhow, headed home from a long sail day. Nothing really happened. And my Mazda didn't have Bluetooth in there, and it barely played CDs. So I used to drive with headphones on. So I got the headphones on, and I'm blasting, I don't remember what song, but all I listened to was gospel music or contemporary Christian music. And I'm blasting the music. You know, I can't really hear anything, which was normal for me. This may sound stupid, but I found that you don't need to necessarily be able to hear well to drive well. And I learned that from a customer that I had who was, like, legally deaf, and he was the best test drive to this day I've ever been on. Excuse me. But that's a whole other side story. So, headed home, headphones in my ear, blasting music, and there is, to get to the Beltway from my job, it's about a 10-minute ride down a major road with like a million lights on it, so it takes forever to get there. But once you get there, there's one of those really, really, really long merge lanes. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those. Most merge lanes are like get over in 500 feet. This one's like get over in 1,500 feet, so it's an actual lane for you to speed up in and kind of get on. So I'm getting on the on-ramp, and I'm in this lane. And of course, I'm trying to, you know, get up enough speed to make it into the main lanes. But I've got this dude who's just on my behind. And not necessarily right behind me. I mean, in the lane to the right of me, he's just on me. And he's not giving me space to make it over. I mean, obviously he knows I'm trying to come over because that's what happens in these lanes. But every time I look over, he's like right on my bumper, but in the lane to the right. So my dumb behind, I keep speeding up, trying to get enough speed to get in front of him instead of just, you know, slowing down to get behind him, which is what I should have done in hindsight. But you know what they say about hindsight, it's 20/20. So anyway, I'm speeding up, trying to get in front of them, and my baby's not known for going really fast and not telling you about it. So at one point, I think I'm at like 80 miles an hour, and by this time, she is starting to shake because she's an old rust bucket pretty much. And when I say starting to shake, I mean she's kind of like this as I'm getting faster, and you can kind of feel the tail swerving a little bit. So anyway, dude's on my bumper, and I'm coming around this bend to the left, and I look down at one point, and I'm pushing 90 just to try to get in front of this guy, and he is on me. Little do I remember that it actually rained earlier in the day, and so when I'm coming around this corner, the pavement's dry, but I hit this wet spot. And as soon as I hit the wet spot, I realized, oh shoot, I'm in trouble. So I tried to kind of slow down gradually, but by that time, I had already lost control of the car. And so my car is spinning. Well, my car starts swerving and turning this way because I'm going around a left turn. So my car starts to turn sideways like this, then it does one of these numbers, and then it just goes into a full-on spin. And so I'm in the middle of the Beltway spinning with traffic on all sides of me. And you can't see it now, but normally where you see that little side rail, there's a wall like what's over there. And so I'm spinning to the left, and I'm headed towards what would essentially be that wall I showed you, but on the left side of me. And I'm not freaking out, oddly enough, because the first thing I did was I called on Jesus. And so as I'm turning, the inertia of my car actually takes me away from the wall, and I'm turning more towards traffic. So on the one hand, that's great. On the other hand, that's horrible because of course to the left of me is the shoulder, and there's nothing happening on the shoulder, but to the right of me is 4 lanes of traffic and there are cars. So after calling on Jesus and I'm spinning, I'm watching what's happening around me, saying to myself, okay, who or what am I about to hit? Because I plan on surviving this as best as a human can survive circumstances that are outside of his control, which is, 0%. But, I'm planning on surviving this as best as possible. And so I look, and I'm going away from the wall. There are cars around me, but I don't seem to be getting close to anybody. And by the time I stopped spinning, I was actually facing oncoming traffic. So I was on the Beltway, facing the wrong direction. But what I really thank God for is that when I stopped and I looked, all the traffic around me had stopped. Everybody saw me lose control of my vehicle, and instead of continuing on and trying to make it around me, all 4 lanes of traffic came to a halt. So when I stopped, I'm looking at people who were concerned about the fact that my car is spinning around and trying to make sure that I'm okay. And outside of it being super embarrassing, I made that U-turn on the Beltway to turn back around. I rode the shoulder till I got up to speed, and I went home. And I really thank God, because that could have turned out so much worse. Now, the funny thing about me and somewhat close to traumatic experiences is that they don't hit me immediately. And that, that's most people. Some things have a delayed reaction on people. And that definitely had a delayed effect for me, because it wasn't until the next morning that I woke up and I really realized what just took place. And I openly want to thank God for sparing my life that way, but for also just looking out for me. Because that was a very dumb decision on my behalf to drive that fast, period, in such an old car with low traction and on wet pavement. That wasn't the best of decisions to make, and it really speaks to how God's wisdom is a lot better than our stupidity. So first and foremost, I want to thank God for keeping my life. Secondly, sorry about that. That was the nose. Secondly, I had to call and tell my mom the story, because at the time I was on her insurance. So things had got really bad. And that actually started the whole thing about me getting my own insurance. But it wasn't until months later that I bought the jet I'm sitting in right now, and I got my own insurance and all this other stuff. But I never really told anybody that story, mainly because stuff like that, I don't know, I just keep it close to the chest. But I wanted to share it with you guys. I have a friend of mine who watches the vlogs, and she's always telling me, why don't you tell us stories about things you've been through, things you've learned. And I'm telling you, I've got more stories to tell than I can give out at the time. But I wanted to share this with you guys, just as I don't know, just sharing a story. Honestly, I don't have a really deep point to give you. The basic point. Well, I can't say I don't have a deep point, then try to say the basic point. So I don't have a deep point, period. But anyway, I apologize for the delay in posting stuff. I've been extremely busy with a lot of projects for multiple churches and multiple avenues of people who need an editor, and that's kind of what I've been working on lately. That's kind of taking my time away from posting videos. But hopefully once things lighten up, I'll be able to get back to it. Anyway, I love you guys. Thanks again for watching Rugged Heart Productions and for tuning in. Please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think about this story. Give me some comments below if you have any questions. If you want to hear about anything in particular, you want me to tell a story about something I've experienced in my life, just ask, and I'll gladly shoot a video about it and tell you guys. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm about 15 minutes outside of church, so I'm gonna get in there and get done what I need to get done. Either way, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Peace.